Good afternoon, students and parents. Hope you're doing well. These are decimals in not model form, but in numerical form. And decimals are actually part of the base 10 numbering system. To the right of the decimal point are fractions, and to the left are everything that we're used to. Those are the whole numbers. So to the right, whole numbers are fractioned into tenths and hundredths. Adding and subtracting using decimals is relatively easy. You just have to make sure that you put the decimal point in when you have your difference or your sum. The addition and subtraction are exactly the same to adding and subtracting normal numbers in our normal number system. So hopefully you won't make too many mistakes, and this will give you a little bit of practice on adding and subtracting. Remember I said that when you use a calculator, you'll start seeing more of these decimals being used, and this is kind of what it's like. Also, our number system for dollars is like this also. These could be cents, and you could add these together and find out how many cents you have and how many dollars you have. So the addition's all the same. It's just that we have this decimal point in it. We have this new base 10 side over here that is the fraction of a whole. So let's go ahead and add this. Now remember, this is called the hundredths. So we're going to add our hundredths first, but you're going to see that it very quickly turns into regular addition, the ones that you're common with. I'm going to add 5 plus 9 hundredths. 5 and 9 hundredths are 4 hundredths and then 1 tenth. Now I'm saying it, and you guys are going, oh no, Mr. Budiger, that doesn't sound right. Well, that's how you would say it. It looks the same as regular addition. I'm going to add my tenths, 3, 4, 5. Here's my 5 tenths. So if I were to have 15 cents and added 39 cents to it, I would have 54 cents. Now remember, this 0 over here is very important because I don't have any wholes yet. This is still the fraction part. Let's look for one that has, this one over here. Let's look for one that's going to give us a whole. So here I have this is my hundredths. And we use that TH, hundredths. And here's my tenths. That's hard writing that way. I'll move this back. Here's my hundredths, here's my tenths, here's my decimals, and here's my whole numbers now. We're on this side of the decimal. And if you use a calculator, you're going to see these all the time. And you're going to be using a calculator in 5th grade. So let's add 9 and 2 hundredths. Okay. That's going to give me 1 hundredths and a 1 tenth. And I'm going to add my 9 tenths, 14. This is going to give me 14. Now watch, I'm going to bring my decimal down right below where it is. And magically, this becomes 1 and 41 hundredths. Okay, since we have a hundredths place over here, we aren't going to say tenths and hundredths. We're just going to say hundredths. This is 1 and 41 hundredths. And this is 54 hundredths. Now we aren't going to add tenths because that's just going to be plain boring. The addition is the same as you're used to, like a common algorithm and how you add common algorithms. Maybe we can do, let's see, there's enough of them here. Let's go ahead and do a whole roll. And you're going to see how easy this gets. Pretty soon your mind's just going to shut off. It's just going to do what it knows. And you're going to be adding decimals. So isn't that amazing? Okay, so 4 and 4 is 8. 5 and 4 is 9. Don't forget the 0 here. This is 98 hundredths. 8 and 2 is 10. That's a 0 here and a 1 up here. And 9, 10 is 11. Oh, this one's going to have a whole number. That's 1 and 10 hundredths. Okay, let's go over here. We have a 5 and 7. That's 2 hundredths with 1 tenth. That's 6, 7, 8, 9, and 9. So that's 92 hundredths with no holes. So I have a couple that have a hole, and the rest of these are just decimal fractions. So you're going to find this extremely easy all the way down because you're very used to this kind of addition. And if you need some practice in addition, there's a lot of problems here. Okay, you don't have to do them all at one time, but maybe take a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Maybe take a row each day. Don't get too overwhelmed by the new terms of having this decimal point here and the base 10 system having fractions on this side. Don't worry too much about that. Just do the addition, make sure your decimal's in the right place, and you'll be fine. Here we have subtraction of decimals. Again, don't get too calculate the difference. That's going to be our answer. Don't get too intimidated by having the hundredths over here and the tenths over here. Okay, don't get too intimidated by that. Just go ahead and do subtraction as you normally would. And let's see how that would work over here. Now my decimal point is going to come right down the same as it would as a place value holder. This decimal is a place value holder just like the 0 and the 6 is. It's saying this side over here is whole numbers. And this side over here is fractions. Decimal fractions. And the reason we're learning this is because this is how calculators work. Calculators aren't going to give you a proper fraction. They're going to have that fraction bar in between. They're going to give you numbers that look like this. So let's go ahead and start with our subtraction over here. We have 9 hundredths minus 5 hundredths. That's going to give us 4 hundredths. We have 6 tenths minus 4 tenths. That's going to give us 2 tenths. Now we're over here in the wholes. This is just like regular subtraction. Now we can't subtract 7 from 0. If you have nothing, you can't take 7 from it. So we're going to change this to 5 wholes and this to 10 ones. Again, we didn't add anything to it. We didn't change the value. The value is still the same. I just took 10 tens and took one of the tens and moved them over to the ones place. And we have 10 ones over here. So 10 minus 7 is 3. And then we have 5 remaining. So this is 53 and 24 hundredths. I could move that decimal down a little bit to the bottom there. All right, let's keep on going. I'll go ahead and do a row right across here. Let's look at this one. This one, the 4 hundredths is smaller than the 9 hundredths, but don't be too intimidated by that. We're going to take this 3, this tenths, we're going to change it to 2, and we're going to move 10 of them. 10. We're going to change the tenths into 10 hundredths. If you remember from our model of our fractions, 1/10 is equal to 10 hundredths. So this becomes 14. So now I have a number large enough to subtract 9 from. 14 minus 9 is 5. 2 minus 2 is 0. I have my decimal point right there. 7 minus 9, now here's our whole numbers. 7 minus 9 is 2, and then we bring our 6 down. So this is 62, and just like we do with fractions, with the improper fractions, we say the whole numbers, and then this is the and part. 62 and 5 hundredths. There's no tenths over here. So again, I'm pretty sure you can calculate the differences pretty straightforward. Saying them and understanding exactly what's going on might be a little bit more difficult, but I just want you to practice doing some subtraction, and we went ahead and threw that decimal in there. Let's go ahead and do the other one. 0 minus 5. Okay, we can't do anything with the 0. Okay, because if you have nothing, you can't take 5 from it. So we're going to have to take one of these 3s on the 10th side, change it to 2. We're going to move 10 over here. This becomes 10. 10 hundredths is the same as 1/10. 10 minus 5 is 5. 4 up 2. We're going to have to do this again. This one's going to be hard. I'm going to change this 3 to 2. So I'm taking one of the ones and I'm making 10 tens out of it. That'll give me 12 over here. 12 minus 4 is 8. Took me a while to think about that. And then I have 2 minus 5 again. Oh, I'm going to have to take another one here. And this is going to become 12. So I'm taking one of my 10s. Only 1/10. I'm turning it to 10 ones. 12 minus 5 is 7. And I have a 1 here. Holy mackerel. This one was a complicated one. This is very difficult to get the right difference down here. But this would be pronounced as 17 and 85 hundredths. I hope there are not too many that are that difficult. Okay, let's go over to here. You can see that this number is larger than this number. So this is always the number we're playing with. The larger number, just like when we did the improper fractions, the larger one is the one we really have to be careful and kind of manipulate and regroup in order to be able to subtract all these place values. This one might be a little bit easier. It does look easier. We have 5 in the hundredths place and 3 in the hundredths place here. So 5 minus 3 hundredths is 2 hundredths. 9 minus 5 tenths is 4 tenths. We bring our decimal down. Okay. 4 minus 1 is 3, and then we have 4 over here. So this is 43 and 42 hundredths. Last one over here. This one I would think we're going to have to regroup, at least in the ones over here. We have 5 hundredths and 9 hundredths. We can't subtract these two because this one has to be larger than this one. So we're going to take one of the tenths here. We're going to change this to 4. We're going to move it over to the hundredths place, and there's 10 of them. 10 tenths and 100. So this becomes 15. So we have 15 minus 9 is 6. 4 minus 1 is 3. Bring our decimal point down. 3 minus 1 is 2, and then we have 2 that we don't have to do anything with it. We're just going to bring it down. That's staying up there, and we're just going to bring it down. This is 22 and 36 hundredths. So all these are subtracting in the hundredths. 24 hundredths, 5 hundredths. That looks a little weird having the 0 over here. But remember, these are fractions, so it goes the opposite directions of having zeros over here. 17 and 85 hundredths, 43 and 42 hundredths, 22 and 36 hundredths. Give this a shot. You might have a little problem with the math if you haven't done this in a while, some subtraction. Move the decimal down, and we'll practice how you pronounce these decimal fractions throughout the week and from here to the end of school, and you'll be pretty good at that. If you want to use a calculator, this is what you need to know.